missing out. Is this show?
This is Allison Danger. I love wrestling. You love wrestling. We love wrestling.
And a TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion. You might know her as Tara or Victoria. It's Lisa Marie Varon. The fact that she is the All Elite Wrestling Women's Champion, Thunder Rosa! All right, ladies, we've only got 4 mics. The 4 of you are up here. I think it's best if it's a women's history panel. I mean, y'all don't need me. I mean, what am I going to talk about? I mean, you guys are the ones that are going to do it. So we'll change the format. Allison Danger is here. You guys span different generations of wrestling, and you have seen the growth of how this has come, including we've got current champions, former champions. This is a stacked panel if I've ever seen it, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what, ladies, I'll let you do the talking, and then we'll have our fans ask you some questions. So talk to us today about what you'd like to share about women's wrestling, and how first, I guess, maybe how it feels to be back in Jacksonville.
Woo! All right, let's give it up to everybody out there that came out here. Thank you. Thank you for all your love, all your support. And it's not a cliche. We couldn't do it without you guys. Amazing, amazing. So, I'm the oldest here. I am. Oh yeah, I'm older than you, Lisa. Really? Yes, I am. So, little history, a lot of history all the way down this panel. This is an amazing panel. This panel is talented. This woman here I love. This woman here I wish I would have got to wrestle. An amazing human being, Lisa. And the lady at the end has a heart bigger than this room.
Too much salt.
Oh. So, I have had the honor to be alongside and get to know these ladies little by little each year. Have shed some tears and some wonder. Lisa, I am so proud of you and your journey and everything that you've accomplished in this business. You have paved the way for so many and little girls and little boys to have dreams to become what they want to be today. Yes. She does not give the credit that is due to her. And you, my dear, I want to kick your ass. You and I need a match. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't really got to see much or work alongside of you, but I know there's some great history between you guys. Is that true? Now I'll let you take it, and you guys. No? Or maybe you'd like to start.
Oh my
So
God,
I've got a lot to say myself, but I'll let these ladies start.
Go ahead.
I just want to just say, thank you all for just showing. There's nothing like a wrestling fan, and you know, when we do these, you know, I can't help but to mark out too, because I'm a wrestling fan as well, and I just get to. It's always a reunion, you know, like when we get to see this kind of stuff, and then I get to see familiar faces, and get to hang out with, you know, our family, because we've traveled together more so than our own family, and it's a lot of sacrifices being away from home. And this is when you do these conventions, you really do. It's so nice to hear back. Like we kind of live in our own world at home, you know. Like, you know, I still, you know, I take my dogs for a walk, pick up poop and stuff like that, and then I forget, like, you know, what we've done in this our careers. You know
Wait a
what I
minute,
mean?
whose poop are you picking?
My own.
Oh, okay. Lord, her dog, your dog.
Yeah, my dogs. But it's so nice, and there's nothing like a wrestling fan. There's loyal, and you guys always have our back, and it totally loyal. And I'm so honored to be a part of this panel with you lovely ladies. Yes, I love you guys, and you made me cry. I'm sure my eyelashes are falling off already. Yes, but thank you guys so much, and we love you. We couldn't do it without you guys.
Honestly, I didn't realize like how special this panel is. I'm with like a younger generation, and I'm the one who's speaking like the mom. But I'm with, I mean, Madusa, who's been all over the world, a great trainer, and she has a lot of her students have worked in my show in Mission Pro Wrestling. And with Lisa, I used to watch her, when I started watching wrestling when I was like in my 20s, because I didn't watch wrestling when I was a little kid like you, my sister. But, you know, we have so many great stories and we come from so many different backgrounds, but at the same time, women's wrestling and the love for athleticism and equality has brought us together.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's what is so important, because they're the women that I look up to more than anyone else in the business. I was brought up not as a fan. I was brought up as a social worker, and for my need of making change, I gravitated to her because she is a badass herself, and a lot of the things that she did, and a lot of the risks that she took, right? And with Lisa, she was very different, and when I used to watch her, like there was something about her that I really liked, right? And with Allison, it's the stories that come from other people that I know that I work in the independent scene that you help train and they wrestle you. So for me, here as a new generation and as the first ever Mexican-born champion of a major company, it's an honor to be with you guys. Woo!
So I'm playing it really cool right now, but like, one, I'm definitely gonna cry in the shower tonight, because this is a dream come true. And two, like, little baby Danger is going, oh my god. Like, my phone's right here and I'm going, can I sneak some selfies? Text my brother, be like, oh my god, look at that. My husband's gonna be so jealous. But, like, it means a lot because I literally was in the bathroom and I tweeted.
Girls, hold on. Selfie. Okay, I'll stand here.
So I was literally in the bathroom and I tagged the company here in River City, and I'm like, there should be like a wrestling women's panel and we should be on it. And then Madusa, she goes, so we're doing a panel. She's like, you should get on it. I go, when? She goes, right now. Grabs me, drags me over, introduces me, and they're like, do you want to get on? And I'm like, there's a microphone. I'm a Carino. Like, they just go hand in hand. But this is amazing because I've looked up to you, like, followed your career, looked up to you, like, I wanted to have the healthy knees to do the widow's peak, but I couldn't. So I had to take it from other people in the independent scene. And then, like, you set the bar for women because you were unapologetically you. You saw the vision of what you wanted to be and what you wanted this business, and you were like, consequences be damned. Yes, I have been reading a lot of stuff about you. Consequences be damned. I'm gonna do it my way. And if it means things go down, things go down. And you still are. And like, you still roll it. And like, when I think about, this is getting hard. This is tough. Like, women's wrestling, I don't know if the vision's there. And then I think about like what you did, and what you're doing, and the past that we have built. And you know, the walls that we've climbed and that we've torn down behind us so the rest of them can come behind. Like, yeah, this is an honor. Little baby Sting, we're doing this for you, kiddo. Because, like, you are everything right now. I am absolutely loving you. And I would really hope if they take a picture with you later, if it's okay. Yeah? Oh, bless you.
You know, it's wonderful fans like this little girl and everybody out there that this is what we're building. This is what we've done. This is what we love. So the evolution of wrestling, you know, thank you, everybody. I really so much appreciate it. But it didn't just start here with my attitude. It started with the women before myself. And I even got to wrestle Moolah. That was amazing and very respectfully. And the women, some of the women before Moolah. So having relationships with the Moolahs and the Wendy Richters and the Sherry Martells and the Luna Vachons and the Heidi Lee Morgans, the Jumping Bomb Angels, Aja Kong, Bull Nakano, Those are my heroes. Those are the women that helped hone my craft to be able to do what I did, to help me set a standard and change the trajectory of today's women's wrestling, because I didn't personally like where it was going. I wanted more as a woman in the business, not just cover the ears TNA. Even though there was a generation of that, I respected it, but it wasn't my choice. And I knew at that time that it was time for me to retire at 2001. I knew it was time to get out of wrestling after about 20 years. And what was I gonna do? Sit on a beach, have a little cocktail with an umbrella? No. I was gonna do something else, but I didn't know what, but I wanted to retire. So I got a phone call and said, hey Deuce, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, Mike, what are you doing?
Mike Weber?
Mike Weber. So Mike Weber is COO of Fight. Y'all familiar with the Fight app? Oh, he is an amazing guy. So because of him, he called me up and said, would you like to drive a monster truck? I'm like, what? What the hell are you talking about? And that's how I got into monster trucks. Raced Dennis Anderson, beat his ass all the way in the World Finals 20 years later, and had my last race in Australia. So that is what it's called, paving the way. And for some reason, wrestling always has its wonderful ability to have us circle back and bring us back together. And wrestling is always going to be home and where my heart's at, and including Japan. And that's my story. But there's a bigger story. My biography comes out the spring of 2023, and there's some good stories in there.
Are you going to bury me? Am I getting buried in this?
No burying, no burying, no burying, I swear. It's not a tattletale book at all. It's about a woman and her adversities in life and overcoming, and it's a motivational book. It's a wonderful stories of this business, myself, monster trucks personally, and amazing people.
Y'all better get on Amazon and get the pre-order going, because that book is going to be flying off the shelves. I want to turn it over to our fans to ask you ladies some questions, but I'm going to be selfish for a second. I got one first because Lisa, talk to me about the Widow's Peak. It was my favorite move. I'll tell you this, because I was young enough to still be playing video games at the time. My finisher was always the Widow's Peak. It was the best move in the business.
I take credit for that move, but Roderick Strong is the one that came up with that move. I think he was 12 years old. Molly Holly saw him do it at an independent wrestling show and came back to me and said, I have a finisher for you, Lisa. Well, Victoria, we don't call each other by our real names, but, and she goes, here, hook me up, and then I did it in the ring, and everybody went, are you okay? And then Vince was out there and said, she goes, do you like that finisher for Victoria? And he goes, you okay? And I got the thumbs up. And so it's just, and I remember Roderick Strong wait for me at a hotel, and he goes, hey, Victoria, and I'm like, hey buddy, what's going on? You know, like people are waiting in the lobby, and he goes, I'm the one that came up with your finisher, and I go, oh my God, dude, you put me on the map. Because of you, you made Victoria. So that's how wonderful Molly Holly is too. Super giving, not a selfish wrestler, wants to help everybody out, and that's you're only as good as your opponent, right?
No, amen.
Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome, dear. All right, fans, so who's got some questions? We have time for a few. So this gentleman here, then this young lady. So let's go in that direction first. So right over here, my man in his Becky Lynch t-shirt and Atlanta Braves hat. What you got for us, bud?
So Victoria, I want to ask you, who was your favorite opponent you ever wrestled in your whole entire career?
I'm going to be honest with you, I can't answer that. I just had different kind of styles. You know, Gail Kim was the flyer, Molly Holly was a grappler. Like there was different opponents, but my most fun opponent, I can say, is Mickey James and ODB, because we would, you guys, thank goodness for our hair, but we would try to pop each other. We would try to make each other laugh and say funny things in the ring just to try to break character a little bit. So it was more fun. It wasn't like, you guys are gonna think that my hardcore matches are like my favorites, but it's scary to do a hardcore match. The nerves you do, like you're hoping to God no one gets seriously injured, and you're more nervous at those. Those aren't the times to have fun. You're just like, oh my God, please let me just walk out of this alive and not break anything.
Well,
so
unless you're a psycho like me, you have a lot of fun.
You do?
So much
I
easier.
do.
That's
Oh,
I do.
really?
Yeah.
All right, this young lady has a question here. What you got for us?
So this is for Thunder Wrestling. What's it like being champion?
What's it like being champion? Wow. Well, that's a great question. I always say it's a great responsibility. Just as I always say, this championship is very heavy, and it's like heavy in every single way. Because
Oh my God.
it's like 20, 35 pounds.
Did you feel this?
It's like 30 pounds.
Come on. That's terrible.
Because there's so many expectations that people have, not only for you, but also for the women's division that you're representing. So for me, as a champion, every time I step in the ring, and even outside of the ring, I have to represent the company and also have to represent women with respect and honor, the way that I feel it should be, put out there. Like, I wanna put women in a way where you're accepted because you're sexy, you're accepted because you're smart, you're accepted because you're an athlete, and you're accepted because you're a human being. And for me, that is to be a champion.
It's also a lot of responsibility because you have a target on your back because everybody's trying to be the champion. So everybody's going, I want that championship belt, you know?
Yeah, you know Britt Baker wants that back.
We got another question back here.
Hey, Madusa, just recently saw the Bill Maher episode from the 90s with Piper and Heenan and such, and when he dropped the bomb about the insinuation about the sport, it seemed to change that whole interview. I wondered if you recall that and if there was anything that didn't make the episode about how much heat there was after he said that, because Piper looked like he needed to be restrained and was not ready to hear that.
Okay. Repeat?
Repeat?
The Bill Maher episode from '99 with you and Bobby Heenan and Sting, and he made the insinuation about the product before.
Oh, the cologne? Are you talking about when I threw the cologne? I can't.
What happened on the episode? Talk to me, bro.
Before the age of the internet and before the curtain.
So talking a little bit about what wrestling is, and okay, before kayfabe was, before people had more of an understanding. I think his question is, that interview seemed to get kind of wild once that insinuation was made, and you were there, you were on it. Was there real life heat there? Was Piper that upset? What was that interview like on that show?
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand which interview. You said with Piper and me?
On Bill Maher show.
Oh, Bill Barr. I'm sorry. Okay, I got it. I'm tracking. I got that. Okay, so Bill Barr was totally different than he is today on that show. I mean, completely 180. So every time there was a break, he would just kind of mind his own and wouldn't pay much attention or go powder his nose and come back because there was a lot of tension and heat, basically. So when he said off camera, sort of, wrestling's fake, and we were like living kayfabe still then, right? And it was real kayfabe. And so that just broke Piper. I mean, he lived and breathed and ate the business and loved, and he did everything to protect it. But he had a valuable answer when he stood up and dropped his drawers and proved something to Bill Barr on Politically Correct. And it's an old show. You can probably pick it up on YouTube, y'all youngins out there. And so Bill Barr told him that the business was fake, and for him to prove it wasn't, he dropped his kilt or lifted his kilt and showed his surgery marks from all the pain and injuries of wrestling. So yeah, it was a very full of tension type of show. But it went well. I liked it.
As well as could be. We're still talking about all these years later. We've taken time for maybe two more, so one, and then we'll get one more.
Yeah, I had just kind of want to know your thoughts about how joshi wrestling has kind of become a part of the American mainstream. Because I know Madusa, you started out with All Japan Women's, the first foreign to bring it over to the U.S. Then Allison through Shimmer. A lot of Joshi stars kind of came through. That's his first exposure here. Just kind of what are your thoughts that now you see basically the Joshi style is part of the mainstream?
So Joshi style, that's where my heart is. My heart will always be in Japan. Japan basically molded who I was, but I knew that when I had my contract, the first American ever to have a 3-year handshake contract to stay over there, I knew that I needed to come back and reinvent Madusa, right? So reinventing Madusa and mixing it up with Japanese was the style to go. And I knew I had it to change. I know I wanted to add and change wrestling and have a little bit of the sexism and the strength of the woman, business all in one. But having that Japanese style is when every single person took me serious. I came back here and started just busting ass basically, and it was on. I was stiff. I was a stiff worker, definitely, because there was kayfabe running rampant, but I knew that it was BS. And I wanted to be taken seriously. I was a wrestler, darn it. You know what I mean? And so, Japanese is amazing. And I wish we have some Japanese wrestlers in AEW. Yes. And they are remarkable. And never say never. Maybe Bull Nakano might come back. I don't know. No.
So like, the Joshi style really spoke to me from the moment I broke into wrestling, because I kind of fell into it. I didn't plan on getting into it. I just was hanging out with Francine one night, and it just happened that I ended up on a show, and I fell in love. And so this was back with like cassette tapes, and I was getting all that stuff traded, and I watched like the Gaia Girls documentary, and where most people would run from that after watching it. If you guys have not seen that documentary, I highly recommend it. It will make you decide if, oh my God, this is the career for me, or oh my God, I'm just gonna be cool being a fan. That girl's bleeding everywhere. And so that was my goal. My goal was to get in, get good enough. I wanted to get to Japan. I wanted that Ribera jacket. I wanted that jacket so bad, and I have it in burgundy. And I'm so proud of it.
Did you say Ribera?
My Ribera jacket.
Ribera jacket.
Yeah, oh my God. And I remember my very first match, I actually got to Japan on a fluke. I filled in for Daphne in 2003. She had low-key got signed by WWE, had to move to OVW, and it threw me in. I went over there, and they kicked the living bejesus out of me, and I thanked them. I literally landed in Tokyo, went straight to the dojo, and I was there every single day that week, training, studying, and I was like, this is who I want to be around. This is what I love. And I brought that style back. Daisy Hayes went over there, brought that style back. Lacey went there, Del Rey went there, and we brought it all back, and we were like, we're going to find Shimmer in a hybrid of all different wrestling. So I also really was a huge mark for British wrestling, still am. And it's the work ethic over there. It's you dedicate your whole life. Your whole life is wrestling. And that's just what it is. And then to have all that Joshi talent come through Shimmer, and then come through, the day Ayaka Hamada showed up, y'all, oh my. You think I'm fangirling now? I legit cried because she got to be my retirement match. And I thought I died and went to heaven.
Did you ever get to wrestle Minami Toyota?
I didn't.
I did. When she was a new face. She was amazing.
Tell me everything.
No, it's just you guys don't understand. When you guys are and get to Japan and you taste the food and you're like, I'm lost. Nobody speaks English. They actually spoke Spanish, you know. And I, just like you guys, I trained at the dojo and I got beat up and they forced me to do things that I was very uncomfortable. And then I came to America and I was like, oh, wrestling is easy, right? It just changes your mindset about everything. Just like you, when I went to Japan, that was not even a year in. And that molded me to who I am. So if you, like, this last Wednesday I had a match and they're like, oh my God, that was a very hard-hitting match. I was like, gosh, it is nothing. Like, I remember my senpai because I didn't know how to do things very well. She beat the crap out of me, and I learned how to be a better wrestler because of that, because I learned respect through the business. I learned that I I have to put an effort for my opponent to be the best that they can be. So I enjoy it. I will go back 1,000 times back to Japan because it's my heart's in Japan too.
And you know, I'm jealous because I never trained in the dojo ever. But I do remember like going Japan. My mom is born in Korea, raised in Japan, and going back there. They're welcome home, Victoria, and I'm like, my mom. It's my mom. You know what I mean? But the respect. They don't call it wrestling match. They said that it was a good fight. But the respect aspect, I think everybody, I'm jealous that I didn't get to experience that. I really am, and I think every wrestler now should experience that kind of way of training and how hard, you start from the ground up. I mean, cleaning up, like building the ring and you know, setting up the chairs, like you just learn from the bottom all the way to the top, you know what I mean? And I am like, I just wanted to say, if you do, someone asked about the mainstream, like how it is now, I don't know, Madusa, if you feel like this, like you're a grandma. Like I feel like a grandma to these kids because I'm so proud. And people are like going, oh man, you know, what do you think about today's divas, the new generation? I'm like, I'm so proud because they're main eventing, man. It's about darn time. And you know, so it's just like, it's incredible. And so I couldn't be more proud than the girls, and just the way they work now is just, I know people don't like the style, you know, but they can run circles around me. I'll be honest with you.
You talk about main eventing, and that's a great point. So we run from here to there, and we're finally there, but we're not fully there yet. Well, there's still a lot of work to do for the women. However, that main event, when I started, I was on the bottom of the card, and it was so-and-so, 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 and I was, and more. Our names were never on the card hardly ever. So, yes. And and your era was actually right after mine, so it changed a lot. So every era has its transition. Every era has its growth. Every era has its ups and downs, but every single era made it better for the next era. Or else I didn't do my job. Right? Exactly.
And if you get a chance, like I would watch Lipstick and Dynamite. Yes. Lipstick and Dynamite. You know, we were novelty. We were at the circus, so we were considered circus freaks. Having a female as a wrestler or having an alligator match, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's come a long way, you guys, and it's amazing, huh? Amazing.
I got one more question for you here.
Okie dokie. How you guys doing? Can you hear me? No?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. First I want to say, Victoria, I grew up watching you, and you were definitely one of my favorites. You were one of the few ones, you leader China, that kept your clothes on the whole time. And I was like, okay, those are real, like that's real wrestling. That's what I want to do when I grow up. So I want to thank you for that. So this is a question for the whole panel. All right, so across all promotions, who would be your dream angle right now?
I will start and end it real quick. Meaning, would I love a retirement match? Yes. Who would it be? Anybody, really. It would have to be a good storyline, so never say never.
There's so many talented chicks up there. My God, they're just amazing. I'm a Natty Neidhart fan, so like, you know, like she's also, I got to wrestle once on her tryout match at WWF or E, but and that was it. And then we tagged, so I never really got to have like an angle with her. And she can, as they say back in our day, they can wrestle against a broomstick and make the broomstick look good, right? That's a talent when you can make anybody look good, and she has that gift. And you and I have never fought either, and we didn't fight.
I know. Let's do
Madusa, hey, fatal four-way.
Oh my God, who would you like to see? have a match. That'd be good.
We got a ring right out there. That's all I'll say. There's a ring right
Wait,
there.
wait. You're holding a title. You're holding a title.
I want to retire you, so I'm just saying.
Oh. So okay, wait. You got a title. I still have the original WWF title. I may have dropped it in the trash to make a statement.
My son knows about this. And
Okay, I am still the 24/7 champion. No one ever pinned me, nor was there a ref around.
Oh.
So,
I don't know.
It's like anybody who wants to come at you.
Yeah, why not?
So like, I don't know if I still have much left in the tank. You name a promotion, there's somebody there I want to work with. I have a notebook full of ideas, all that stuff. If I had one last person that I had to do it with, be Zoe Stark, because that's my wrestling kid. We used to sneak into, oh God, I hope they're not watching. So we had a key to a wrestling school that was shut down during the pandemic, and we got in there. I mean, yeah, so to see her blossoming, to be there at her like War Games match and everything she went through, I feel like if I had to do one more, it would be her. Now, do I want to work with everybody? Yeah. But if I only had one, I would say Stark. And make sure you guys tweet her and tell her that, so she can like kiss up to me later. Get them Zoe Stark points.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Welcome, Zoe.
thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for this unbelievable, legendary panel of women: Madusa, Thunder Rosa, Lisa Marie Varon, and Allison Danger, everybody. Thank you so much, everyone. We got more matches happening on the other side of the building. We'll see you over there, folks. Hopefully you are enjoying the River City Wrestling Con.
I love wrestling, and you love wrestling, then we. You're not here, you missing out. Is this show?